So this is our day 4 for our Selenium Java Cucumber CI course. And today we will continue on learning about web elements and locators. Today we will talk about Xpath again. And today we'll see one example how to combine two attributes to find any element uniquely. We'll talk about some of the shortcuts in CSS Selector. We'll talk about some of the shortcut which you can use on CSS Selector. And there is some homework which I will explain what you guys have to do. Okay. So let's get back to our classical example of that particular page. And this page is all about uh, putting the values in this box, selecting the gender detail, selecting the city, and okay, let me include one more agenda today is select from that also we will see today. Fine. So I'm going back to that page. I was explaining that this is simply like selecting city, and I have implemented this part now. So current balance, whatever is your current balance here, and if you put, let's say, 3,000 rupees, and once you click on the withdraw money, it will show you a message. You have withdrawn 3,000 from balance 8,000. And if you observe that automatically this part is showing me the current balance is changed, right? I'll share you the code behind this. Don't worry. I've written the code if else part when current balance is less than withdrawal money, what will happen? So for example, if I click here, now the current balance is 5,000 and withdrawal money is 30,000. So if I click here, this is showing me minus 25,000 rupees. So that part I'll work. But if I refresh it, and first time if I'll put more than that, let's say 8,000 is the current balance, and how much I want to withdraw is 34,000 rupees. And if I click here, so it should show me an error. So that part I'll work. You guys also should work on it, whether how we can resolve it. So if I click here, it should show me one error. So let me correct it. Yeah, now it is showing me error. It's saying not allowed, insufficient balance. So that's fine. I guess that is working. Not allowed, insufficient balance, it is saying. Okay, let me refresh it again and let me put 9,000 rupees now. And if I click in withdraw money, yeah, it's saying not allowed, insufficient balance. Okay, fine. So this is our own web page we have created, which we are using just to understand some of the concept. Okay, and the code behind this is I'll share with you guys. Understand it. It's a very simple page, just 96 lines of code is here with this all elements and the functionality behind it. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about our agenda today is to understand first about XPath. Okay. So for example, let's open our previous example and we will extend the same thing. So I am copying our previous example. Let me close all. Our previous example was this, copying it and paste. So this is demo 2, let's say. Okay, and here I'm deleting all other code. Okay, So the simple code is just about opening a browser as of now. And here I have to write dr.get and that particular page. So that particular page is present here in my system. Control V, and the name is practice.html. Practice.html. Let me see if it is opening. Yeah, it's opening. Okay, just this thing I wanted to check. Okay, now our agenda is, let's say, to going back to the website. Let's say we want to fill this current balance. Sorry, current balance is by default 8,000. It is showing. We want to fill this text box with how much you want to withdraw. That money we want to put. Okay, so let's do right click, inspect, and if you see here, the code behind that particular text box, the code behind that particular text box is this: input type is equals to text, id is equals to withdrawal amount. So how I can make an XPath out of this is right click, copy XPath. Okay, so that will give a default XPath by developer tool, right? Then we can also tweak it, we can also change it. So I'm copying it here. It has given me like this: / star @id is equals to withdrawal amount. I'm changing it to single quote. Okay, fine. @id is equals to withdrawal amount. To check whether it is a correct thing or not, copy this and go back here, do Control F, put the expression here, and see both the things are getting highlighted: the element code as well as the element at the left hand side, which is related to a particular XPath expression. Now I want to identify in a more unique way. It's fine that there is ID, which is withdrawal amount, but I want to add type is equals to text also. So it's very simple. Here you can say and @type is equals to text. Right? So you can use and keyword to combine two attributes, and it's now it will be very unique, right? There is no other element which is having type as text and withdrawal ID as withdrawal amount. You want to make it more unique, why don't you set here input? Okay, why to write star? Star means um, any tag, right? But when you write / input, so it's very much clear that you want to find out one element which has tag input and it has attributes like ID, withdrawal amount, and type as text. So we will use this, and I'm going to the code. We will write dr.find element by .xpath, and that XPath expression we will put, and at the end I can write dot send keys, and here we'll put, let's say, 2,000 rupees. Okay, fine. And after that we want to click on this withdrawal money button. So let's find that. So there is one arrow icon in this dev tool. I'm clicking there and going to that button. So that is input type is equals to button, value is equals to withdrawal money, ID is equals to some IPL. Okay, and on click is a set balance. Okay. So how to create. Now let's understand about CSS selector. Let's understand about CSS selector. If so, to create the CSS selector, you can simply see there are multiple ways to find out this single element. Let's try all these things, whatever we understood till now. I am copying this HTML and putting it here only. So we'll create everything. Okay. So this is our element, which is saying input type is equals to button, value is equals to withdrawal money, ID is equals to IPL, and on click is equals to some function is called. If I want to create CSS selector out of this, what we can do is observe what we are doing. Input type is equals to button. Second attribute, if you want to use, value is equals to copy paste this one, and ID is equals to IPL. Okay, so you can use this, the whole expression as one CSS selector. And now it's up to you whether you want to use just one attribute like type is equals to button. Are you able to uniquely identify that button through this? Then it's fine. If you want to add another attribute to find that element uniquely, you add value also. If you want to add ID also, you can do it. So this is our CSS selector. The same thing. If I'll write Xpath for this, probably we'll be writing like this, // and then input @ then there is a copy paste. So here, and then you can write and whatever attribute, the next attribute you want to use. So if I want to use ID, probably I will copy this and I'll say @ID is equals to IPL this. Let's try whether it is correct expression or not. I'm copying this, going here and put it here. So that is getting highlighted, both the things, the text here and the button, both things are getting highlighted, means this is a correct expression. If I change this expression, putting instead of IPL, if I write India, right? See, nothing is getting highlighted because that's a wrong expression. Let me make it back. Let me first show to you. See where my mouse is moving. Here I am talking about, okay? If I make it IPL, now it's coming back to the highlighting the element. It's a correct. Okay. Then if I want to make a CSS selector again, but with some kind of shortcut, what you can do is input. Okay, fine. Then there is a standard shortcut in CSS selector. If there is an ID, you can use hash. So hash IPL. So this looks very good, right? This looks very good. Everything is clear on the 14th line. But if you are experienced or if you want to use, you know, if you can explain this to your team members also, and everyone is okay with using this kind of shortcut also, then you can use this also. input, what I write, this tag name, and then whatever you want to add. So there is no shortcut for type, values, right? There is a shortcut for ID and class. So if ID is present, you can write hash. Okay. See, if I use this, let's check whether it is correct or not. So I'm using this expression. See here, things are getting highlighted. That means this expression is correct. Okay. And let's assume, so I'll give you another example. Let's assume if anything is like this, input type, or let me put div. Why I'm using every time input. So div, and here somebody has written, let's say class is equals to menu bar, something like this, and you want to, so sorry, this, I want to write the HTML. So let's say if one HTML code is like this, okay, and you want to create the CSS selector for this, div class is equals to menu bar. If I want to create CSS for this, I can write div dot menu bar. So when there is a class, you can use dot. When there is an ID, you can use hash, right? So this is just one example. If you want to convert this to CSS, if you want to find this element through CSS selector, you can use div dot that class name. Sometimes the class name is too big. Sometimes the class name is very big. I'll give you a real example. Just a minute. So let's say this is a page, test.techlib.in, and we want to find the CSS selector for this explore button. Okay, so we'll do right click, inspect element. So almost every browser has inspect element, right? So here is the inspect window for okay, let me change the view, just a minute. It should be dock to right. Okay, so if you see here, this is the left hand side is our website, and the right hand side, which you are able to see, is the code behind it. Okay, I want to inspect this explore button, so let's click here and explore. So the button is this. This is an anchor link which is saying class is equals to mb-5 btn primary href is equals to something. Okay, and I want to use, let's say, CSS selector to find this particular element, right? Though you can use explore as a link text also, that will also work, but let's assume that you want to use the CSS selector to find it. So right click here and you can do where is copy, yeah. So here is the option. Most of the browser has its own, copying Xpath CSS selector, but as of now we are learning it, so I'm copying it outer HTML and I'm going back to explain the same things. So let's say this is our element and we want to create a CSS selector out of this. So what we can do is, because the class name is a big name, okay, and there is a spaces in between, right? So it's better to use one of the class. It's better to use one of the class. So MB5 is not making any sense. Let's understand this, that this particular class, probably they are using it internally. Developers are using for some kind of color coding, some kind of code, we don't know, right? But this is making sense that class is some kind of button and there is class value as button primary also, right? So always use which makes some sense, right? Always use the attribute and the values which make some kind of sense. So here, if I want to convert this particular element for this explore button, what we can do is anchor tag, okay, where I'm not using href also, right? I just want to use this class thing. So I'm writing class is equals to the value, the whole thing. Okay, let's check whether it is correct or not. So I'm copying this, putting it in Control F. Here is the search HTML pattern. So here it is getting highlighted. If you see here, it is getting properly highlighted. But I said that it's not a good practice to use the spaces between your expression. So if I want to use one of the attribute only, so you can use star, a class star is equals to, and then you can delete this two, the first two one, let's say. So what is the meaning of this expression now? This expression means find one anchor tag where class contains this. Find out one anchor tag where class contains this. It's like this. Let's check whether it is correct or not. Going back here, putting it here and hitting enter. So when I hit enter, that things are getting highlighted. That means it's correct. That means this one is correct. Okay. So that was just an example. Let's go back here where we want to hit on the button. So coming back to our example, we want to hit on the withdrawal money, and we created the CSS selector out of it, like this one. Either you can use this or this. Okay, so let's use this one as of now. So I'm copying this and going to the code, tr dot find element by dot css selector, css selector expression, and dot click, because we want to click it. And then once it is clicked, let's wait for let's say 2 seconds. And after that, we want to check whether this message is coming or not. So we will be sending 2000 rupees as of now. And once we click it, it should show you have withdrawn 2000 from balance 8000. Something like this should be shown. So how to check this? Again, everything is a web element. We have to inspect it. So we are inspecting this message, and this is saying that let's check it again, so that if anybody of you is not clear about how to check the element, I'm showing it from the scratch. So here is one element, one message, right click here, inspect. Okay, so this is like highlighting this. So this element is a paragraph element where ID is balance detail and it has some kind of text. So this is fine. ID is balance detail. So I'll use it. So it is an ID. So ID means shortcut hash you can use in CSS selector. CSS selector is very interesting. There are a lot of patterns which you can use. tr dot find element by dot. See, either I can do this by ID and put that ID balance detail dot get text, which will give you the text of that element. Let's put it in one string. String msg is equals to something like this, and let's print that message. So I am doing this. We'll use CSS selector also. I'll show you the example. So let's run this now. I'm running this. So if you observe, everything is done already. It has put 8000 here, 2000 here, and okay, it has not clicked on the withdrawal money. There is some issue. Let's wait. Let's wait. maybe there is some error. Or let's check whether program is executed. Program execution is done, because here if you see, it is showing gray disabled rectangular box. If the program is on execution, it will show you red one. Okay, let's see what is the error. We should know how to overcome or how to troubleshoot that error. So this is saying, so let's check how to check the error. First of all, let's understand that error will come in your console window. Okay, fine. Now how to check the errors? You can just double click on this console. It will get in a bigger page. It will come, and always check the error like this from the starting. Okay, it's saying exception in thread main, no such element exception, no such element, unable to locate element method css selector, this. So it is not able to find out one element which has this particular selector. So I believe that I have put a space in between somewhere. So let me correct it. Closing this, going to the code, and where is, see here, I have put by mistake, there is one space here. Let me delete this. Yeah, now it will work. I'm closing the output window, running it again. Yes, done. This time again it is failed, I believe. Let's check what is the error. So it's saying no such element, unable to locate element, same message. Input type is equals to button, values is equals to, I have put some kind of mistake. So it's a real-time error. You may also get it. So let me copy this and we will check. Okay, is it really that because this message is very useful. It's saying that it is not able to find this element. Okay, so why not check it right now? Okay, it is talking about this particular element. It is not able to find. So go to the page. Okay, and check control F. I'm doing in this area control F, putting that expression and putting enter. Oh, there is some issue. This values, I have put it as a values. It is value. Okay, my mistake that there is a spelling mistake for value. So now it is getting highlighted. That means correct now. I'm copying again here and let's correct in the code, and we will put it properly now. So I am pasting it here. Now it should work. So let's see now if it is working. Run as Java application. So it is opening, it has put current balance and everything, clicked on the withdrawal money, and it's showing you have withdrawn 2000 from balance 8000. Okay, so it's done. And if you see, it is showing me that message. So we have successfully got the text from this element and we are able to show that, right? Let me explain the whole code again. Don't worry about it. Okay, so let's understand the whole code, whatever we have done till now. What we did with this 12 and 13 line, we have opened the Chrome driver instance and our control is with dir driver.get. I'm putting the comment. Okay, so get function opens the port website. Okay, so whatever website address you will give, it will open. So if you put https www.yahoo.com, that will open Yahoo, whatever website you will give. As of now, we are using our own one HTML part. That's why I have used it. Then once it is opened, we are finding one element by this expression. So what this expression is saying, so this is an XPath. So it's finding one input tag where attributes are ID is this and another attribute type is equals to text. Okay. And what we are doing dot send key is 2000. So we want to send 2000 on that particular element. So we are talking about this particular element, sorry, this one where we are putting the withdrawal money. By default current balance I have set 8000. When we refresh this page, by default 8000 will come because in the code I have written set the default value as 8000. We just have to put the withdrawal money. So we are sending the value here through this code. Okay. Then from the 20 line, we are finding an element through CSS selector, and CSS selector is little bit actually more clear, right? Sometimes XPath may be you will feel confusion in XPath, but CSS selectors are very clear. So this CSS selector is like this input tag. In CSS selector, you don't have to put slash slash. It is simply directly the tag name. Type is equals to button. Any attribute you can, any number of attribute you can write in rectangular bracket. So we are writing type is equals to button, value is equals to this, ID is equals to this, dot click, because we want to click on that button. We are talking about this withdrawal money button. Okay. Then we are putting a wait or sleep for 2 seconds because there will be internal process will happen. That's why we have put it, right? In real project, we will avoid writing it. Anyway, as of now, we are putting it. Then after that, there is one message will come here, right? The message will come, whatever you will do, a message will come here that we want to capture. So to capture that message, what we have written, driver.find element by ID, balance detail dot get text. The same thing I can write in this way also. So I'm changing this code a little bit and I will use CSS selector dot CSS selector. And instead of writing balance detail as an ID, I can put hash here. So if you're writing with the CSS selector, you can write driver.find element by CSS selector hash balance detail, because hash means ID, hash balance detail dot get text. And once that text you got it, you are putting it in a string and printing it. Let's run it again. Yeah, done. It's very fast. It is very fast. So everything is done. Here, in fact, it has changed the current balance. So 8000 was there, then it changed it once you clicked on the withdrawal money. It is changed. And if you see here, message, we are able to print. Okay. Now, what is our next agenda? I'll take all the questions at the end. Okay. Let's complete what we want to understand first. Second thing which we want to do today is related to selecting it from the drop down. So let's understand that what we want to achieve is we want to select a city. Let's say we want to select Delhi in the city drop down. Now the question is, and the problem is, here the elements are coming when you click here, then only it is coming, right? Otherwise it is not visible. Otherwise all the elements are not visible. So for this purpose, Selenium has a separate class, and you have to do in a specific way when you are working with drop down. So that code is a standard code if there is a select an option tag. So let's see the code behind this drop down first. So I'm inspecting it. And if you see the code behind that particular drop down is this: select, option, 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 select close. So select tag creates a drop down, and option will put the various options in that drop down. And in the option, if you put selected as one attribute, it will automatically, it's a default selection. If you see here, when I refresh this page, Chennai is the default selection because we have put it selected is equals to Chennai. If I delete this from here and I'll put in the by default select city, that will become select city. Okay, so let me change it in the code so that it will look good. So where is our select thing? Here. So this selected part I am deleting from here and putting it for this so that it will look good. So this will be by default selected, and our options are Delhi, Vijayawada and Chennai. Let me save it, refresh this. See here, select city is getting by default selected. Okay, so whatever you select will come in a blue color. See here, background blue, right? When you select it, the Vijayawada will be selected as a blue color background. Okay, okay, fine. So we want to select it, and the code behind that is this: option, select this, this, this. So to perform a drop-down selection, I'm writing it here. So there is a select class you have to use. So select, you have to use select. You can give any name is equals to new select, or let me write control space. So select will be one class you will get. So I'm going down. Okay, first we have to import it. So let me import it first, and new select, and here you have to provide which element you want to select. So first of all, that particular element which we want to click and select should have some kind of identification. So here there is just tag, select tag is there, right? So that code doesn't have any ID. This code doesn't have, class or anything. So how to do that? First of all, if in your page only one drop down is there, then you can use tag name also. So I'm writing, let's say, web element, okay, and city is equals to driver dot find element by dot tag name, and that tag name is select. Okay, and then you have to provide this element here. Okay, so how it works, you have to create a select object, right? Select is a class in Selenium, and when you pass one element, then we have the control of that drop down with s, and now you can write s dot select. So there are three ways to select something: select by index. So if I say select by index 1, so index start with 0, so it will select. Actually, if I do select by index 1, 0 is the select city, 1 is Delhi, 2 is Vijayawada, 3 is Chennai. So it will select Delhi. Another way is if you want to select s dot select by value. So value is a different thing. It's not the text which you see. Value means if there is a value tag here, a value attribute. So there is no value attribute here. Option is there, and then option should have a value attribute. Value attribute is not there, so you cannot use it. If it is there, you can use it. I'm not using as of now. S dot select by visible text. So that is like, once there is a selection here, what are the visible text here? So You can select it by Delhi as a visible text. So here you can write same spelling should be there, Delhi. So that will also select Delhi. So I'm commenting it as of now because we are using s.select by index. Let's see if Delhi is getting selected. I'm closing all the windows and let's run this. We'll learn one more thing is this particular website is getting open in the 3/4 part of the system. So by default, the behavior of Selenium code is it opens in a 3/4 part. We have to maximize it. So there is a code to maximize. So see here, Delhi is selected. Let me change the index. So I'm closing this and let's change the index as 3. So that will select Chennai. So let's run this and observe whatever is happening. I changed the select by index to 3. So see here, select city is there and now Chennai is selected. So it's working fine. And if you want to select it by visible text, I'm commenting it. So you can select it by visible text. Let's select Vijayawada this time. So I'm going back here to just check the spelling of the Vijayawada. Spelling of Vijayawada is this, and I'll put it here. So this code will select the drop down value Vijayawada this time, and let's run this. Okay, Vijayawada is selected. Fine. So it's working fine here. Now how to maximize it? So manually what we do, we click here to maximize and we click again to put it with the previous size. So, but in code, if you want to maximize it, you can write here, once you open a particular website, you can write dr.manage.window.maximize. So there are a lot of functions. Once you write dr.manage.window, if I do dot, sorry, let me write the dot again. Okay, so there are a lot of options like you can maximize, you can set the position, you can set the size if there is a dimension attribute if you can put, so you can maximize it. Okay, so as of now we are doing maximize. So maximize will maximize the window, and let's say once your task is done you want to close the window, so the function is dr.close. Let's see if it is working. So it will work very fast. So let me put it the thread dot sleep here of, let's say, 8 seconds, so that we will observe that okay, everything is happening, and after 8 seconds it will get closed. So I'm running it again. See here, this time it was getting maximized, and okay, Vijayawada is selected. After that 8 second, I guess we have put, after 8 second it is getting closed and everything is fine. So let's understand what we did to maximize. dr.manage.window.maximize. In this way we will learn a lot of other functions also, but these are standard functions to do a particular thing. And we wrote last is dr.close. So dr.close will close the current window, right? And if you want to nullify the driver instance itself, and if you want to, quit from the driver instance, so you should use dr.quit. So it's a good practice that you use both. Okay, so there is a difference. I'll explain once the time, there will be suitable time to explain what is the difference between close and quit. Once we will see how to open multiple windows, then you will understand what is the difference between close and quit. As of now, understand it. closes the current window, and quit is not to quit all the window. It's not like that. Quit actually, what we say, it's like it vanished or flush the uh, driver instance. It's like this. Okay, so this is close and quit. So this is how it works. I'm taking some of the questions now. Have some patience, and then you can ask. So can't we add two? So somebody is asking, can we add two attribute in this form? Star ID is equals to and pipe sign and some expression you are saying. Can we use pipe sign for, okay, no, withdrawal amount and at the rate? No. So in XPath, you have to use and or there is a keyword or. You cannot use it. So somebody is asking, I'm putting in the notepad so that it will clarify what you are asking. So somebody is asking, can we use it like this? I'll make it clear. It's like this. Can we use it like this? No, we cannot use it in XPath. Right? You should write here and if you are using this too, right? So this code will come here. Okay, I'm deleting it. So this is a proper way to use when you are using XPath. Okay. But in CSS selector, you can use two rectangular bracket, but at that time you don't have to write @ sign. So @ sign is used in XPath only. Okay, so let's remember this. @ sign for any attribute, you use it when you are using XPath expression. In CSS selector, @ sign is not required. Okay, I'm going to the next question is yes, so it's a good question. Somebody is asking, we are printing the text message, but where did we verify it? We are not verifying it. Yeah, you're right. I'll explain it right now. Next question is, if class name is very big, long with spaces, then in CSS selector, how we can write that whole big class name? And if we are not using star, okay, it's a good question. Both the questions are good. I'll take it one by one. So first we'll talk about a CSS selector and then we will talk about verifying the message. Okay. Now, CSS selector part we will do first. Okay. So our example was this one. Let's take this example where input type was button, value is equals to withdraw money, ID is equals to IPL, and on click is this. Okay, this example is not good. This example we have to take where class name is a big class name and there are multiple values here and you want to use this one as well as this one as well as this one. Let's assume that you want to use all the class names. So what you can write here is a class star is equals to MB5, then copy this again, btn, again the last one. What is the meaning of this line? This line is saying find one element which has tag name as a, class contains MB5 and class contains btn and class contains btn primary also. If you want to use all this class values in one shot, you should use it like this. CSS selector is very interesting and it almost take let's say 4 to 5 days. If I want, I can talk about CSS selector for 4 to 5 hours. Right? There are a lot of things, but our sessions have limited time, right? But what I will do, I'll send some of the links you have to read about CSS selector and XPath, how to write the expressions. There are a lot of shortcuts. There are a lot of ways to write CSS expression, XPath expression. Okay, and as in when time will come, I'll use this special thing in our example also. As of now, we are taking very simple examples. Okay, so somebody has asked that how to verify it. We are printing it, but that doesn't mean your test case is passed. That doesn't mean that our test case is passed. So let me put it in a very simple way as of now to understand it, that let's put my name here as Nitesh, and somebody, when once we click submit, then the message should be displayed, welcome Nitesh, welcome dot 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 the username. Now, how to verify whether this message is displayed? So let me inspect it first. And so this is PID is equals to message, and we want to do it. So let's put the, let me check this one first, because we want to put it. So I will use the ID. So I'm writing the code now. Once we will maximize, here I'm writing specify username. So that code is dr dot find element by dot id, and that id is here uname. Okay, dot send keys, and here we'll put, let's say Nitesh. Okay, I put it dr dot find element by id username uname, whatever is the id present here, and to identify this element, and send keys Nitesh. Then I want to click on this submit button. So let me select it. So this submit button is input type is equals to button, value is equals to submit, ID is equals to ABC. So as of now, I'm using the ABC itself. So dr dot find element by dot ID. ID is ABC and dot. And let's wait for 2 seconds after that. And there will be one alert is getting open. Let me delete that alert code. We don't want that alert. So I'm deleting it from the code. Where is that code? There's one pop-up. I'm commenting out the code. Okay, done. So now if I refresh it, and if I put it here Nitesh, and if I click on submit, it is showing me a particular message. So I should get this message also. Let me inspect it. So when I inspect it, the ID is MSG. Okay, paragraph message. Okay, MSG. So we'll write the code here. String welcome message is equals to dr dot find element by dot id. ID is MSG dot get text. So that will give us the welcome message text. Let's print it. Let's print this welcome message. Okay, and let's see if it is working. So I'm commenting out all the other code because we don't want to run this part. We want to run just this particular lines where we are putting username and then clicking on the button, and then waiting for 2 seconds and then printing that message. So let's run this. So it is putting Nitesh. It was very fast. Nitesh, it has clicked on the submit, and now I am able to see the message. Welcome Nitesh. And whether it is able to print it, see here, it is able to print it. Now the question is, how to check, how to verify our test case is passed or not, because I don't want to go manually and check whether this is present or not. There should be an automation mechanism. So here you can have string expected message is equals to welcome dot 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 plus, sorry. So think about how you will handle it programmatically, right? So here actually you will put string name is equals to Nitish, right? Code will be like this. And here you will not send Nitish, you will send name. So I'm correcting it here, okay? So you will have string name is equals to Nitish and you are sending it, and then you have one expected message. What is your expected message? That welcome dot 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 name. Now you have to check this welcome message, which is actual welcome message, which is coming from the code or the real driver instance from that page, is matching with the expected message. It's like this. So how we can do, you can put a boolean check is equals to, now it's a Java code, that welcome message dot equals ignore case. Let's say I'm ignoring the case. So that welcome message is equal to this or not. So let's print check. So this will print me true or false, whether both the things are matching or not. So I'm putting it here and let's run this. And I'll debug this program also for you so that you will get to know that what is happening. So this is putting Nitesh, clicked, welcome Nitesh is there. And now I'm going to the code. If you see here, it is sending me false because there is some spelling mistake, okay? It is sending me false. Why? Because this welcome message is not matching with the expected message. Let's check what went wrong. Let's debug this. Debugging is the best way to check what went wrong with code. So I'm putting a debug point at 20 lines so that we will go it then one by one. So let me close all other windows and I'm doing a right click, debug as Java application.
We need three dots.
Yes, yeah, let's debug it. You're right that actual is 3 dot and expected is 2 dots, but let's debug it so that it will clarify to everyone that whenever you are in doubt, right, why it is not working. As a programmer, we have to think that it may happen with anyone, right? So we are just checking what went wrong. Okay, you will go then one by one. So step over and I'll show you what is happening in the background. That also we will check. So I am here. We'll check what is happening in the background. This is our code and we are at 21 line now, and we will send the keys name. So if I hover over name, see here it is showing me the current value of name is Nitesh. Okay, go to the next line and see here at the left side, Nitesh is there. Now the 22 line is clicking on the button. So that will actually click on the button. So observe that will get, clicked. I'm going to the next line. Okay, that was clicked. And once it is clicked, that message has come, welcome Nitesh. And then there is 2-second break we want to put. Okay, it will wait for 2 seconds. Now it will capture that message from that element. Okay, and now I will have the message. So if I hover over this, it's welcome 3 times dot 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 Nitesh. Fine. And what is my expected message? That will form, right? It has not formed. So in the next line, if I go and I'm going to the next line. So if you see here, now we are at 3030 line. And if I hover over welcome message, that is welcome dot 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 Nitesh. And what is my expected message? Welcome 2 times dot Nitesh. That's why this is not matching exactly. Okay, and that's why this will return me false. So if I go down, if I hover over this now, check is false. Okay, let's correct it. So I'll put one more dot here and I'll save it. So when you try in a debug mode, changing something and saving it, what it says, whether you want to continue from that code, you want to terminate the code, or you want to restart your test case again or the code again. So I'm clicking on the restart. So this time it will again restarting the browser or actually running the whole main function. And I will directly come to this 38 line. So I can click here, resume. So if you observe here, Nitesh has put, welcome Nitesh has put, okay, fine. I'm going here and this time if I check, welcome message is welcome dot 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 Nitesh. That was the exact message coming from the page. Expected message is this, okay. Going to the next line, this time it is true because both the things are matching. Okay, so this is the way you can check then whether, okay, if it is printing true, or you can write it here, why to print true, right? Then you can write if, let me write in a proper way. So if I write check is equals to true, then print message printed correctly, else you can put YSO test failed or welcome message, something like this. That you have to handle it programmatically, but this is not the right way. That's why there is a test ng framework. We will see it later on. But this is one way when there was no unit testing framework, when there was no testing, proper testing framework, people were using in this way. And it's not bad. You can put in the log file that, okay, which test case is getting failed. So this particular test case for welcome message is getting failed. If this welcome message will not match with the expected message, then we are printing it. That test case is failed. This is how it works.